It's a daily talk show, episode 399.
Weekend Banter. What is going on?
Mikey.
How are we going? Was that my intro?
No, that's about it. Well, I'm rattled because I wanted to start a new way of doing the intros of the show.
And we said absolutely not.
And
We've got my brother, Michael Jackett, on the cast.
G'day.
On the cast?
I'll never say that again.
What does that even mean, on the cast?
The podcast.
On the
Few
cast.
things we will never do again, and I'm sorry, Michael, that you've had to be here for this. We'll never intro the show like Fat Fridays yesterday. Never again. Mr. 97, feedback?
It was horrendous.
Why was it bad, do you think?
Oh, I was just listening back to it. It's just so cringe.
And
Try hard?
Yeah.
yeah,
That's one of my brand values.
But also, never do the Ryan Seacrest impersonation again. We've had the people, the masses have spoken. Two people have said never again.
What's the only accent that the American accent I can do is Ryan Seacrest's
Did that come
voice.
up again yesterday?
No, Thursday. He's just catching up.
Have you heard him do the Ryan Seacrest?
Yeah, I think one of the early apps. I think I heard you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what you're referring. No, I've definitely done it more than once.
Yeah.
We should actually look at the transcript. Are you right? It's a little
Sorry,
bit annoying.
guys.
That's okay.
Sorry. $3.99, guys. Far out.
I wanted to ask Mikey, can you do any accents?
No, fuck no.
Have you done any acting before?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, actually in year 9, I won a year 9 acting award.
Did
Yeah.
you?
And yeah, a mate of mine, Tom Noonan, was so dirty because he really felt like he was the better actor. But I think the teacher liked me better. So she gave me the award. Fuck, he was
I'll
fuming.
tell you what kind of a brother Michael was
Yeah.
like. He was the kid who had all of the trophies and the little flags. And remember how you used to have all of those ribbons? I had none.
Well, I was a hoarder.
Yeah,
so they
you
could have been like
still are, bro.
an 8th place. Yeah, I still am. Yeah, absolutely.
So do you still have trophies from a kid?
Do you know what? I reckon I've got that year 9 drama trophy.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you
It's
do
like,
with it?
well, it sits in a box with all the other shit, you know, like
All the other
parents.
trophies?
No, I don't have a trophy cabinet.
It's a box.
But it sits in a box with like your certificates from school that your mum's kept. Like, Mum, did she keep that sort of shit for you? Oh,
yeah,
you
but I haven't asked it. The problem is once you sort of have it in your possession, you then start to build that association with it. It becomes an extent. You're like, I can't get rid of that.
Yeah.
And so
It's a
now,
liability.
And now you've got it.
Mm.
But if your house burnt down, you've got none of it, and it doesn't really fucking matter.
Yeah, well, the aim
Not
of the
at all.
game is to,
Burn your house down.
No, not to burn your house
not
down.
burn your house down.
I kind of wish it happens so I could relieve myself of all this burden.
Mate, Barefoot Investor, he got a good book out of his misfortune. Far out.
I mean, the trophy-wise, what sort of sports were you playing when you were growing up?
Footy, and played a bit of cricket as a youngster, then moved into tennis.
Nah, but your trophies and most of your ribbons came from swimming.
Yeah,
Remember when you-
swimming. Yeah, I did a
Should've
lot of
s-
swimming.
This guy had a fucking. You thought he was going to the army. He had just a short
Camo?
back and sides and almost an afro, like just chiseled fucking.
Do you know Grant? He was my hairdresser back in the day.
Grant the barber.
Grant the barber.
Mr. 90. Conspiracy Jimmy
Yeah.
and his whole family all went to Grant. One of Roland, Conspiracy Jimmy's brother, still goes to Grant the barber,
Legendary.
and our dad still goes to Grant the barber.
So I remember the day when I came in, I would have been 8 or something at 9, and Grant sat me down in the chair and he goes, "Mikey, I've got a new comb for you." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And he'd bought this comb with a spirit level on it so that he could get the flat top as flat as he could. And so he would shave like 0.5 on the sides and the back, and then he'd just full like army.
Was he
flat top.
joking?
No, he fucking
He was-
loved it.
he was
It has
serious.
to be a
He
gimmick
loved
though, because if your head is tilted like that, you'll end up getting an off. It
Yeah.
won't be flat.
You'll have a ski jump.
You have a
It
skate
feels
jump.
like it. Oh, do you remember the ski jump was like the? I had the one where it's like you flat the top and then just flick up the end,
Yeah.
which sort of like it's a fake spiky hair because
Yeah,
it turns your
around the-
profile's horrendous.
Russian
around the-
assassin.
Around the time you were putting lemon juice in your hair to make it a little
Yeah, well, I always did the bleach. Maybe that's why I've got folliculitis.
No,
Maybe
it's not,
the,
mate. You just.
Hey, I was reading up on folliculitis last night. Isn't it in the nose?
No, folliculitis.
Why were
is,
you reading up on it, bro?
Because I've got pimples in my nose and they're fucking giving me the shits. And I was like, what is this? And it came up with folliculitis.
Well, yeah, because it could be your hairs are getting in the follicles,
Yeah.
especially like getting a bit of hair in your nose.
Yeah.
The follicles could be getting infected, and that's the folliculitis.
Oh, man, it's painful.
It's well, I've got it on my head. I think I had it once. I took some antibiotics, and they finished.
Now,
my
did you use sun in, or you went straight to bleach?
Yeah, I was straight into bleach.
The suburban
And it would
boy
burn,
goes,
It'd be fucking. It was just,
no.
Mum, it's burning. And also like the tip. It started off with the tip cap,
Oh,
but every single
that's what
time.
Jules used to get every haircut.
Yeah.
But every single time it would be stabbing your head. Like you would essentially.
It hurt.
Yeah, because it's got like this metal like pick thing that you
Yeah.
stab in and then pull out.
Yeah, it looks like a hook,
Yeah.
but it's mini, and so it goes in, and then they pull out a couple of strands of hair.
And so you'd scrape up your head through all of that, and it's like, let's put some bleach on top.
Paint it.
Yeah.
I told you about when I went and I had the bleach cap, and she dropped some bleach onto my t-shirt. This new t-shirt that I got, it was sick. It was like orange. Fuck. She just wiped it off. She's like, that's fine. And then
She knew it wasn't going to be fine, by the way.
Absolutely.
she must have. The next day, it had gone just browny, shitty, like bleachy. It was fucked.
I've still got some undies that I was cleaning the bath with bleach, and I sat back onto the bath where I'd cleaned it, and just turned like yellowy, whitey
Oh no.
bleach.
So you showed me just before a photo of everyone's doing it, the old face or the, just it's a face filter that's making you look old.
Face out.
But like anything that gains some traction, there's been a bit of a conspiracy that's jumped behind it. Mr. 97, do you want to outlay what's going down?
Yeah, so the Face app is the app that they use to generate the photos, and apparently people are worried about their data being sent back to Russia because the company's Russian-based.
Yeah.
But I was just looking through here. There's a security researcher, and she says that they're actually not sending any data back to Russian servers.
And that was translated from Russian because she's Russian.
No, well, I did hear about this because my point is if they were going back to servers, you'd get huge data bills, right? Like, because what they're saying is your photos are going from your library, so your dick pics or whatever, going up to the cloud, and someone in Russia has them.
Oh.
I
Oh no!
all of the dick pics?
No, I thought it was just the photo you took on the app, but I suppose that makes sense.
No, yeah. So I mean, the photo on the app, like, not that much of an issue. I don't think. Like, if you upload it, I guess that.
What can they do with it? It's more the
Yeah, it was fake. What I saw was they're using everyone's face and connecting it with their profile and their information, facial recognition. It's all. I mean, it's all bullshit, but
Yeah.
it's a good story.
I liked it. I mean, once you put the Russians in there, it sounds juicy, doesn't it?
I'd like to go to Russia.
Fucking oath.
Have you ever been to Russia?
No, never been to Russia.
You've done a lot of traveling.
Been to China?
A lot of times.
Yeah. What do you think of? Because Russia and China, similar sort of like there's that level of you're going to China and you're gonna.
Russia seems a bit more like a mate of mine, Steve, went to Russia recently and on a work trip, and he said it's all just it's a bit more like it feels a bit more underground. Like you've got to go. Like he said, I was meeting someone who was like an agent essentially, and he's like, "Oh, meet me at this bar at 9:30 p.m." And he's like, "What?" Like, I'm here to do legit business.
Yeah.
Anyway, China's not quite like that. China's just mad. It's chaotic, but it's not like you don't get a lot of like, oh, this is the dodgy giant. This is not where I was going.
And so, do you have like because you go there for work a bit? Would you
Used to, not anymore. Have you been since you started your new job?
I went like once last year, but no, haven't been for it.
Do you have to get a new visa every time?
I filled a passport going to China. Oh, actually, in a 2-year period, I was traveling so much, I filled a
You
passport.
filled a passport going to China
Because of the
amount of visa stuff.
visas you have to get every time you go, basically. And they fill a page.
Have you ever been obsessed with? There was a time where I was like, I want to fill up my passport before the next one. Problem is, I've still got probably like a few pages, and it finishes November 2020. It's hard
You
work.
better get that sorted before, because if we get to a time where we need to go to
Well, 6 months.
World
Expo.
Expo,
So I'll need to. So probably by the beginning of 2020, I'll have to get a new one. But so has that ever been a thing where you've tried to actually fill one out?
No, it was a pain in the ass, because I had to go and get a new passport.
An American mate got an insert for his. I don't know if they do that in Australia,
What's
but
an insert?
they basically just send you more of the pages.
Oh, right.
Which was sort of-
really?
yeah.
I met a girl that once was at an airport, and I think it was only New Zealand. Maybe it was further out. But if you don't have a passport, you can't travel, right? So
internationally, yeah.
yeah. So what happens if you lose your passport the day that you're going to the airport? Can you get on that plane?
No.
She said that to me that you can. There's a rule if you're in the airport and it's an Australian airline. Look this up, Mr. 97. You can get onto the plane without the passport, and obviously you need to sort of work it out. But if you can't, like, what happens? You lose all that money. Can you find that out?
Yeah.
And what
I call bullshit.
Do you?
Well, because
The bloke with the Chinese.
No, because
fucking-
there's the front desk that they're like, yeah, like here's your ticket and stuff. But then there's customs. Like customs don't take no shit from no one.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like it would only be if it was like going one. Like I'm sure there'd be all these nuances.
Oh yeah, maybe if you're going home.
Home is the point,
Yeah.
not away, not.
But
out
what
of-
about if maybe if it's in a connecting flight? Maybe if you've gotten from
If you lost it on between LA and Melbourne and you had to stop over somewhere.
yeah, which is a very specific
Well, there's no stopover there, but
case. Well, say if you were going LA to Auckland to Melbourne and you lost it in Auckland.
You have to be able to get home. You can't just be stranded. Surely
true.
they would.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Surely anything, Mr. 97?
It's a very nuanced question.
It's hard.
There's a lot of data
No,
that
but
he's
he's
having
good.
to go through.
He's a good little puppy.
Yeah.
So when you were going to China, what were you doing there? Because I know what you told us, but I don't know.
I was going to see factories and work with the factories that were manufacturing the bike helmets that I was designing.
So he designed a helmet that was in the Tour de France. That's how I sell it.
Yeah, that was. Yeah,
Is that a good way of selling it?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's quite good. I mean, I remember you modelling it out and carving it up out of fucking. It looked like a big piece of brain.
It was clay.
It was clay.
Would
so
you
it wasn't
test
a
the
brain.
helmet?
Yeah. So that's what you'd work with the factory in China to. They'd have full testing sites
With dummies and stuff.
No. So there's a couple of different types of testing for helmets. It's like an active test where they put it on like a jig and then they drive it into the ground just to test. And there's sensors behind. There's a little sensor behind where they hit it on the ground, or there's a static test where they hold the helmet and then they just like drop an anvil onto it. So yeah, they're brutal tests, but they're designed to save people's lives. So I actually remember getting it. I think I got sent this, or I was just doing some research online about the helmets because I was like, oh fuck, this is a safety product. Like I was just so in the world of just like design and like carving these helmets and then going to China, and then I was just like, oh hang on, these are actually on people's heads as they're hurtling down roads at 80 k's an hour. And I started looking, and it was a review, and it was this woman who said, I had the worst bike accident in my life, and this helmet saved my life. And I was like, yes.
Oh, your one.
Yeah, I stopped reading
You need
reviews
to put that
after
on your Instagram bio.
Fucking saved it. Saviour. Just
Yeah,
saviour.
saviour.
Flat out
Just-
hashtag saviour. They'll probably think you're just Christian.
Oh, that's cool. What was it on like an Amazon or something like that? Or was
It probably, like this is now, we're talking 5 years ago. So it was probably.
It's since killed
Great.
a couple of people.
Yeah, I stopped reading reviews.
yeah. He also
And-
designed an
and-
airbag that you might not. Isn't that
And
crazy? I mean, how much can you prepare? Say with what happened with their airbag shit, where it's like there was mass recall and they were using.
airbags, yeah.
I mean, like, what's the chance of that happening to a helmet? Like, how much are you considering what it's made out of and longevity? Do I need to replace my helmet every 10 years or something? Or?
Absolutely.
What about Melbourne
Really?
helmets? What about the Melbourne? Like you see a bunch of people on expensive bikes rocking a $5 helmet from 7-Eleven.
Well,
that they've
I
bought.
mean, that's the funny thing. Like a helmet to helmet, like a $5 helmet has passed the same safety test that a $250 helmet has passed. So it's actually for the high end helmets, it's actually harder for them to pass because you put things in there, like you layer materials in there. The safest material is the EPS, like the expandable polystyrene that they put into the mold. And so if you just had a big layer of that on your head, then you're sweet.
It looks shit.
Just looks
It
shit.
looks shit.
Yeah.
But then the aerodynamics come into it, which is marginal. But so
I remember going to the skate bowl, which we spent a lot of time at in our childhood, which wasn't far from our place. And I was on my bike and I was there by myself, with a mate, but no parent. And I had this shitty helmet on. It wasn't cool to wear helmets. Still, I mean, it's not that cool. What's more cool now is safety. Wasn't really when we were growing up. Safety
is it
wasn't
cool?
cool. I think there's cooler helmets now.
It's just because you're a dad now, safety is cool.
Yeah. But I had this fucking helmet that was just like, it was a joke because it was just all over the shop. I hadn't tightened it up, but I just knew I needed to wear it, and I'm thankful I did. I was dropping into the big bowl. Remember the big bowl?
Oh, yeah.
And I pulled in and I just went straight from the top down to the bottom. Upon falling, my helmet had turned down to the side of my face and I smashed my side of my face and I was fine. So the
Did you smash the helmet?
No, I didn't smash the helmet, but the shitty helmet saved me from having a
The
fucking...
funniest one is I see all the time people riding around with helmets on back to front. And it's literally like, because bike helmets are specifically designed to have like the retention system at the back to tighten it.
Yeah.
And they're shaped differently. And these things sit up like one of those Indian.
I've definitely done that.
Yeah,
it's
It
just
looks like
reversing.
Josh's haircut when he was young, the little ski
the
jump at
wave-
the front.
the wave something.
You know, it took me, this is embarrassing, I fucking couldn't work out what those things coming out the top of helmets were. And I was like, why the fuck are people putting cable ties? When I worked out they were cable ties.
Well, they are cable ties.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I worked out and I was like, why? And then it was, what is it?
The magpies.
It's for the magpies?
Yeah, which doesn't work.
Yeah.
Really? But
Well-
it's you're having a stance on the issue, though, aren't you? So, like, even if it doesn't work, you're like, you know what? Fuck the magpie. Like, they're probably because you know where you stand when you say that.
Who's the first person to put those on their helmet?
Well, it's like isn't it the same theory as a scarecrow? Like it's trying to
Yeah.
stop the birds coming but it doesn't work. Like I read a review on it. It's like, no, that's magpies. The best way to stop a magpie is to make eye contact with it
Or a shotgun?
or a
Scarecrow.
shotgun, yeah.
A scarecrow. Best one I've ever seen. Scott Pape on his
Oh,
farm.
yeah. So think about like a big, long piece of, it's almost like piping that sort of can sway back and forth.
Like the thing at a car yard.
Yeah, like a car yard. And then on it was almost like, it was like a
kite?
crow. Yeah, it was a
Well,
crow.
'cause
But it was just getting blown in the wind. And so it's actually looks like it's flying.
Yeah,
You wouldn't want to fuck with this. But the animals start to realise, right? Surely they're
Do
like,
they?
that thing's bullshit.
that thing doesn't have a shotgun.
Ducks at parks, they're over humans. They're like, get fucked.
yeah.
We had enough of
A
you.
lot of issues with seagulls at the moment.
Is there, mate?
Yeah.
What do you know?
Carrying infectious diseases.
Really?
Yeah.
Where have you got this from?
The news. But no.
So 97, confirm.
No, I actually seagulls. There's a story in my family where we went to a beach where a lot of seagulls hang, and my dad, for whatever reason, fucking hates it. Like really despises seagulls.
Two things he hates. It's
Yeah.
cold fucking coffee and it's seagulls.
Because they're annoying.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it was also because
Does he
I would
call them the
feed
rats
them
of
on
the sky?
That's a good name for
yeah.
it. But what I do know that he did was we were feeding chips, and then he was sort of showing off a little bit, but he got the esky lid, and he threw the esky lid at the seagulls, and you think they just fly away. Fucking knocked one of them, and it was and it wasn't, and it's a busy beach.
The arsehole.
Yeah,
The esky arsehole.
Yeah. And we were the family we were with.
Yeah.
One of the ladies was like an animal lover. She
no.
cut dog's hair for like that was her job.
Yeah.
And so she had to like collect the seagull and put it like underneath the tree where it was going to go die.
What did your dad do? What
Yeah,
is he
it was
just like, not my problem?
Yeah,
Do you,
I
do you
just
own
remember.
it? You lean into it? Nah, it shouldn't have fucking been
Yeah.
there. Shouldn't have been
Yeah,
anointed.
yeah.
Fucking.
It is a bit of that. It's like it's the
Dude.
fucking sea. But yeah, in
Well,
those moments,
haven't we all killed a bird
No.
by accident?
When like on cars and stuff.
My mate Fitzy, oh my god, murderer. He we're having fish. We're having fish and chips.
Mhm.
Seagulls are around. Pigeons are around. We're sitting there on Clarendon Street in South Melbourne, busy road, and he just was like, they were so annoying because people feed them. I mean, people like Dill come over here and just feed seagulls because
Yeah.
they're like, look at this cute little animal. I'll give this some little chippies. And so he's like eating and he's just on this. Oh fuck! Threw it. We look over as my glance looks over. I just see a wheel eat a fucking pigeon.
A wheel.
No, just eat, as in it just rolled. I just as the seagull jumped, a car tire, and it was like in slow motion.
Oh.
And Fitzy's just, oh my God, I'm a fucking murderer. I'm a murderer.
Take the day off.
Oh
Rest
my
of the day.
God.
It's not ideal.
Do you know what he did? Went upstairs and did a talk break on it
yeah, bit of gear.
at the radio
Has
station.
anyone ever known anyone to actually do that thing where you give it a
A
seagull a
Panadol.
Panadol?
Yeah.
Nah, but I feel like Tommy Jackett would be prime suspect
No.
for something
I'm
like
glad
that.
I haven't done any of that gronk shit. Maybe it was the way we were brought up. We loved animals. We had every fucking.
We had everything.
We had rabbits, lizards. We had guinea
Turtles.
pigs. Yep, turtles, chickens. What else? Snakes. Mine died. Yours was. Remember?
I sold mine in the end. I was like,
Yeah. But we had lots of animals. It was a rumor or a myth at primary school that if you put
I
it
don't
into
think it was a
some bread.
myth.
Well, do we know?
someone's done it. Someone's
Yeah. So-
it
would go-
supposedly
puff
blows
up.
them up.
Yeah.
Puffs them up. Aspirin blows them up. Mr. 97, what have you found?
Just a video on YouTube.
Of what?
Uh-oh.
Hang on.
One of my favourite videos on
Oh, okay,
YouTube.
no, that's
Oh.
bullshit.
One of my favorite. Did it just blow up?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
One of my favourite videos is
Just
The
Mr.
Ve-
97, just watching YouTube, fucking bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Venice Beach.
Bullshit.
Venice Beach in California. Different seagulls over there, baby. They're huge. Like over in Spain, England, the fucking seagulls are huge. America, fat things.
What's the thing that's bigger than a seagull? That's not. It's not a
Pelican.
duck? Pelican. You
Mate,
sure it's
go
not a
down
pelican?
go down a rabbit hole of pelicans eating pigeons. Oh,
Oh yeah,
it's
I've done that.
hilarious. It's
Yeah.
hilarious because they don't actually eat them. They're just in their beak and they fly off and you can see it flapping. Anyway, some gronk gets laxatives, feeds it to the birds in Venice, and then there's hundreds and hundreds of people on the beach and then he just like goes rah, and they jump up and they're just shitting all over everyone.
no.
Shitting.
Oh, that's
Just
right.
Just all over your face. Oh, it's so
No
fucked.
ideal. What's your favourite holiday destination?
Marlow. Marlow.
Marlow.
Remember we used to go to Marlow?
Yeah, where you learnt to drive on Dad's lap.
Oh, that's right.
Probably Bali.
Mhm.
I've been there 10 plus times. It's very hard to beat now with kids.
Yeah.
So
What about Fiji? I feel like people go to Fiji
no,
when they've
never,
got kids.
never been to Fiji.
We didn't go to. Did you go as a kid?
To Fiji?
Yeah.
Went to Vanuatu.
Yeah, I remember kids
Remember
going to
very,
Vanuatu quite a
very
bit.
expensive Magnum ice creams.
Ah,
I was whinging. I need one. And island prices of Magnum, I think, was like $9.
Well, technically, if it wasn't for Mikey's love of Bali, I wouldn't be married.
we wouldn't all be here. No.
Imagine the prick of a person I'd be. Do you think I've become a better person since meeting Amy?
Yeah. I don't know if that's because Amy or, but you've just grown up a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
where do you stay in Bali? Because there's Kuta.
No, there's not.
So if I'm going in an order here,
No,
there's
not.
Kuta, then there's Leyin, and then there's Seminyak, and now there's Ubud and
Lombok.
No, Canggu.
Canggu.
That's next on the list of
Really?
those. That's as you work your way up north, up the coast. So we'll go into Seminyak, Canggu for a bit, just because there's nice restaurants and stuff. But then we'll try and get down to down south, like what's it called, like Nusa Dua or what's on the cliff there where we
You got married there, mate.
Yeah,
So, what's the beach?
must have been memorable.
Finn's Beach Bar.
Yeah, what's it
Look up
called
Finn's
down there?
Beach Bar.
Uluwatu.
Yeah, fuck.
Or
Got there.
Ungasan.
Got there. I mean, you spent that much money on the wedding. Fucking can't even remember the name of the joint.
I've spent 5 years trying to forget about it.
The cost of it. I mean,
the whole wedding.
the debt's still there, mate. You can forget about it all you want.
I mean, if you've been there 10 plus times, you say 10 plus times. So how many times have you been delayed based on volcanic ash?
Not once.
Really? I feel like that's all you hear about is
and the coups that are going on up in bloody Indonesia, and you can't go to Bali.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Have you ever been?
I remember when I went in 1998, there was some sort of coup. I remember people with red bandanas or whatever on motorbikes. It was all very exciting.
There's a sale on
Sounds
the red
like our
ones.
childhood.
Are you talking about the Crips? Or the Bloods?
No, it was
Bloods?
some sort of political thing. I just
Okay.
remember. And the other thing I remember from Bali was
It's never in Bali though. Was that in Bali?
Yeah,
It's always up
yeah.
in Indonesia. It's up in
like Jakarta or something.
Jakarta, yeah.
But the no, I just do you do the monkey farms or shit like that, or is that?
I did the first couple of times. But
Yeah.
once you've done it once, I'll take
once
the
you do
kids
it
back
once,
there.
you do it one more time to check.
Do you think you like it because we went there? There was like a big family holiday.
Yeah.
Grandma just died, got a bit of money.
Is that
That's
why we
literally
went?
how
Yeah, we went.
That's why I went as well. Gran died.
Gran died.
Yeah.
It's the place you go when Gran dies.
We could have at least had a toast to Gran then. I don't remember.
Nah, we just were fucking.
No
Mum, I want to go
idea.
paragliding.
Yeah. I want a fucking laser.
I want fireworks. I want a BB gun.
Yeah.
We did bring fireworks. That was the good old days.
Mate, you could bring him back. I mean, the good old
couldn't
days
bring them back,
was
but
still
you
just as dangerous as
Yeah,
the
yeah.
days now. We could have taken down an aeroplane. We could have been MH380 or whatever it is. MH, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like, you think about it, I saw a
Except weren't they
Is that
shot
what-
down by
yeah,
terrorists?
it wasn't a couple of bogans coming back from Bali with fireworks.
No, there was, what's the one that went missing at sea? They still don't know.
I think it's MH370Z or some shit like
Oh,
that.
right, mate.
Is that, what's the Z at the end?
I don't know. It's just a flight number.
It's a Malaysia Airlines flight, but hasn't it just recently come out that they've arrested 2 people for
I feel like that'd be big
For
news.
what? Fireworks.
for fireworks,
Bringing
for
No.
bringing bungers back from Bali.
Oh, yeah. Goon Lees, they were called.
Goon Lees.
Goon
that's right.
Lees.
Gee, they were loud.
I mean, it's another thing you hoarded was the fireworks. Like, this is how loose it was when we were growing up. We had, remember that order form we got? It was a piece of paper, we printed it off, and we went through and we ticked off the fireworks we want,
Yeah.
and we sent it to Canberra
Yeah.
with some cash
Or
like
Adelaide.
Adelaide, anyway, and they fucking sent back a box full of fireworks.
Mate, I used to go into the city, into Little Burke Street.
Yeah.
And there was a little grocery store there, and I'd go in there and I'd be like, fireworks? And he'd be like, and he'd just make you wait for a minute, and they go, yeah. And then he'd go out in the back and he'd bring out some skyrockets and some.
yeah.
Oh,
It
mate,
always
it's great.
ended up in disasters at our house.
What,
like
when you had them?
Yeah. There was one time where, the one that sort of spins
Yeah.
and it got like it's a rectangular type. It was rectangle.
What are they
And
called?
it would have a-
Cartwheels. Something cartwheel.
It's like a flying, it's
Something
like a
wheel.
dancing thing, mate. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it would go on the ground and you'd.
Catherine Wheel.
Catherine Wheel.
Yeah.
Who's Catherine? Why is it her wheel?
Yeah, seriously.
But anyway, went horribly wrong. Dad lit it. It was always involving Dad and fireworks, but he lit it and then it went onto its side and started shooting at us.
Amazing.
And that I think was last
I
time.
mean,
Yeah.
you've only got to watch a couple of 4th of July videos and to get some laughs
Mm.
like that. Like in America, they go so mad for them.
Yeah, Jack Post was just over there.
Yeah.
And I saw him at the fireworks store. Dude, this thing was fucking decked out, just wall to wall fireworks.
Yeah, I went in Florida. They've got heaps. And
Yeah, that's
the
where
fact
he
that-
was he?
Yeah, and so I bought a bunch a few years ago, and then actually Googled like, what's the deal? Like, how do you let him go? And it turns out that you can only do it for like agricultural purposes. So if you're trying to like scare birds and shit, that's what you use the fireworks for.
Yeah.
So it's like this
It's got to
massive.
be pretty when you're scaring them.
Well, so that's what I thought was weird. And so what we ended up doing, I was with my mate who's American, and we were it was like 9:30 at night, and we tried to go to like the sheriff's department, like the cop shop,
Oh, you're a goodie.
and we couldn't.
Isn't he?
They were like closed, but we called them. I just put on my like Australian accent, which wasn't hard. I was
You put
like,
it on?
Yeah, I was just like a little bit more. I was like,
he's actually Russian.
no, I was like, oh, g'day, my
I
name's
see.
Josh.
Yeah.
I'm from Australia. I've just bought these fireworks. Where can I let them out? Like, oh, you can't unless you've, for agricultural purposes or whatever. I'm like, but I've just bought them. Is there any way that I could do it? And they're like, look, if you do it away from people, it'll be
Yeah.
okay. And
Fuck
so
yeah, that's nice.
and
Well-
it was great.
Pang's got a similar story, my mate Pang, about he was somewhere in Nevada or something, and he said something similar, like you have to go to the cop shop and get the approval to
Yeah.
let them off. And the cop loved it so much. He goes, yeah, I'll come. And so he escorted them to this like big like field where there was nothing going on. He's like, oh, let's do it.
Fuck, that's good.
Well, I actually went to the Philippines, created a whole documentary called Goodbye Philippines, which is referring to a firecracker that is so big they call it Goodbye Philippines. It's like massive. And so I went to like the manufacturing, like where they manufacture the
Oh,
fireworks.
shit, that's dicey.
And well, especially the ones that are illegal in like random fields, and they just go into this little shed
Yeah,
and they've
yeah.
got like silver, like just all the chemicals and stuff that they're using. But
sad. And
that's where I fucked my ear, because they like as soon as you say that you're making a fireworks documentary in the Philippines, they all just get their like they don't normally let them out until like New Year's. It's crazy. Like they can't even the airport in Manila. They actually have to shut down for times because of the amount of pollution that's in the air from
Jesus.
the day after New Year's. It's crazy.
It's weird. I mean, cultural sort of things that happen in different countries. What's the favourite of what you've experienced while travelling? like the maybe food or
About
Yeah.
the red envelope
I-
in China. Have you ever gotten a red envelope from any Chinese businessman?
No, what's that mean?
That's just like you
Cash?
get you just get. I think it's like Chinese New Year. Get a red envelope full of cash.
Yeah, right. No.
I always wanted to be Chinese, Jewish, all of them,
Mm.
but like just for the cash.
you spent some time in Germany, didn't you?
Yeah, I was going to say Germany was good. Like the food, it's always around food.
Mm.
Maybe that's just me, but it is always like you remember the food. Like Germany, there was some like at the bike trade shows, there was some sick like big pastery, meaty, sausagey dishes. But then actually China because I was traveling to the factories like probably every 6 weeks. I was up there for a week for a period of a couple of years, and 6 or 8 weeks, and you would they employed 2,000 people. They would feed them every day. It cost them on average $1 a day to feed per person. And so they would kind of peel you away at lunchtime and take you into the manager's area, and they'd have this person cooking for you, and they'd put all like full fish and like all these massive dishes, and they'd be on the Lazy Susan, and you'd be just hoeing in.
Do they call it a lazy Susan? Is that a Chinese?
Yes.
I doubt it.
Who's Susan? Why is she lazy?
So
Yeah.
anyway, so
And Carol and her cartwheels. Or what the fuck? Who was that?
Catherine Wheel.
Catherine. Sorry.
So this particular day, I said, "Oh, let's not worry about that, or let's not go out to one of the restaurants or whatever. Let's just eat what everyone else is eating." I'm like, "You sure?" It's like, "Yeah. Let's just like bring in one of those little polystyrene boxes." And so they brought it in, and I'm humming. It's basically just like fried rice, and the meat you get is like 80% bone, 20% meat. Like they're just like very rationed pieces.
So it's a slave camp. that
And
you-
to-
Has that right?
And this day there was like tofu, and it was really dark, and I was like, oh, what if they like cook this in like, squid ink or something like that? Fancy with that. Anyway,
Yeah.
so and they're like, what do you tofu? And I was like, yeah, this stuff like this. It was like a block of it, and I was like, oh, it's a bit ready. And they're like, oh no, that's not tofu. I was like, what is it? And they're like, from the duck. And I was like, what part of the duck? And they're like, the blood. It was just boiled duck's blood.
Oh,
That's full on, isn't it?
It tasted delicious.
I mean, we can look at what they eat and go putrid, but they also are using what the animal has
yeah.
to the full extent. Whereas here, we throw out so much shit.
Mhm.
We don't need that little bit. Just
Yeah.
fucking.
I love
Where
salami.
they use it all. Yeah, I mean you're just getting the leftovers of everything
Yeah.
in salami.
That's the thing. I think it's all how it's positioned.
I felt sick after eating that salami and shit yesterday.
Really,
Just felt a bit full.
it was a dense lunch.
That's what happens. Remember when you were in Germany and you had that random encounter with Oliver? Remember?
No.
Fuck, I'm glad I remember the story. Snowed in,
Do you remember yet?
Germany, 2011. I don't know, I'm just making numbers up.
Yeah.
And you're in a hotel because your flight couldn't go out.
Yeah.
And then you're walking out of the hotel
Yeah.
and Oliver's walking in. You remember this? You don't even
Not
remember
as
this?
well as I should, clearly.
And so Oliver walks in. This is
Who's
the
Oliver?
best mate of mine from we
Okay,
grew
great.
up. Mikey's known him, since we were young. And they're in Germany. Everyone's snowed in. You can't fly. It was that year that, like, the UK, Germany was Europe was so bad.
2010. It snowed.
2010?
Like Heathrow was shut down. And that's where I was trying to get back to.
I do
And-
like the idea of being snowed in. Preferably not seeing anyone I know, though.
Well, here's the thing: you won't remember it because you can't remember.
Yeah.
And,
Did you
and
get
he
on the
walked in.
piss?
You were,
Is that the idea? Like
I
when you're
know,
snowed
you
in
would
and
just
you drink?
walk in. You're like, "What's up?" I remember you telling me this.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I remember. I feel
Yeah, I
like
can't
I was.
add anything to
I
that
feel like I was there. I actually feel like I was there.
Maybe it's it's so weird stories, isn't it? Like
Well,
you
what
can.
memory, right? It's like we do our best to remember stuff. What's a childhood memory? Do you remember this one?
Yeah.
When I farted and it sounded like.
A dolphin.
Do you remember where we were when it happened?
Marlow.
Nah,
Weren't we?
I reckon we were out the front on our deck.
No, it was in the bath. No, it was in the bath. I've got to, actually, that's a very vivid memory.
Well, I can't really remember it, but I remember something happening there. What happened?
Oh, well, you
You
just told
farted.
it.
It
No.
sounded like a dolphin.
Didn't it say like dolphin? What did it's
What, your fart sounded
said
like it
something.
said dolphin?
it said something.
I'm cold.
Oh yeah,
That's what it sounded like.
Your fart sounded like it was that you spoke out of your ass. Not for the first time.
still do right now.
Yeah.
It was. I'm cold.
Really?
because you were sitting in a bath in Marlow at that house, and all the water was gone, and you wouldn't get out of the bath, and
Sounds like Bodie.
yeah,
No.
that's funny.
Well, where would you go on? So you've mentioned Flinders before. What do you guys remember of family holidays?
Flinders was great. Like we went there a couple of times a year. Like a lot of surfing. I actually lived in Flinders for only a few years ago. Went back there. We always stayed local. That's why Bali was always big. Like that was like that 2007 trip was a big. Like, oh, we're going to Bali.
Yeah, but
how do you avoid the Bogan Bali experience? Do you think?
Don't go to Kuta. Stay pretty out of Legian. It's very easy to avoid it.
Do you end up staying in wherever you're staying the whole time, like resorts and stuff?
Yeah, we try and just to mix it up. We'll try and move a couple of times. So we'll stay up in Seminyak or Canggu for half the time, and then we'll go down to like one of the really nice resorts, or like you're quite excluded down there. So you kind of you don't do a lot of shopping, or not that I do a lot of shopping, but you don't do a lot of travel around. You just stay in the resort.
No Hawaiian shirts.
No, I mean the first couple of times you buy a couple of that stuff. Yeah.
You see how hard it is though. Once you have a family, the effort quadruples.
Yeah.
Just the effort and thought that has to go into it. You can see
Kids
why.
is there kids club at the places you go?
They have to be old enough for
I
kids clubs to
hated
begin
kids club.
with.
I refused to go to kids club.
Did you?
The kids are just so annoying when you're a kid.
And the nannies are great. Like if you a lot of people can't get over the trust thing, but the nannies are amazing. Like if you can, you're paying them $6 an hour because it's a really good career for them over there, and they love the kids, and they've all got kids of their own. We end up saying to them, if one of your kids wants to come, bring them along, because they end up playing with ours. Yeah, it's great. Then take them to the day club.
Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah, in Kuta.
Yeah,
You've
I just
got
remember.
something with Kuta, don't you?
Well, so
He's also got something with Hard Rock because he used to go to the one here.
Yeah. I'm sad it closed down.
I mean, he's the guy that also, if he goes to Hard Rock, he goes to Kuta.
Well, I do. But maybe I had the full Bogan experience. I didn't realise it as a kid.
Well, sure you did. When you went to Bali.
Yeah.
You went to Hard Rock.
Yeah.
You went to the
But it was
club.
Hard Rock. Maybe Hard Rock was quite like in.
I mean, I stayed at the Hard Rock in Vegas.
Were we all Bogans in the 90s?
Yeah.
Who wasn't a Bogan in the aren't we?
And the thing with Hard Rock is it's all inclusive, isn't it? So it's like all your food and your drinks and
Actually, I wasn't paying. I was 8.
Yeah.
But I do remember the sumo wrestling. That's what sticks in my. It's funny when you're a kid what sticks into your mind.
Sumo
We had
suits.
sumo suits, and you'd wear them and all that sort of thing. Karaoke, I feel like, is a big thing for Bali, like going to places. Maybe that's
big
just
in
my
China.
experience.
Like you go around China, there's like full KTV, massive buildings.
What is it? What is it about that thing that they love?
Well, there's a bit of a seedy side to it.
Is there?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, like in China, like you can go. I've actually just do not go near the microphone for singing, but there you can go to KTV and then you get all like the service, like the girls come and serve you drinks and
It's a strip club.
Brothel.
It's not a strip.
brothel.
It's not either of those. It's neither of those. But it's entertainment. Like it's the female entertainment. They become hostesses.
Sure.
And
I
it's
feel
a
like
real
this is a
Chinese
guy
thing.
trying to explain to his wife that he didn't go to a strip club.
That was a karaoke
No,
bar
it
with
was.
female entertainment.
It was it was neither or neither. But so it's a bit dark, is it?
Yeah. But there's just like you can just go and just like it is here, like just do karaoke. But there's also the add-on service of like the girls come and try and earn some money.
So is it family friendly at all? Are there like families doing karaoke and you just don't get that
I
service?
don't know because I've never been into
Okay,
one,
sure.
but I would assume not. I would assume it's not family friendly.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. Because I like karaoke. But,
You'd be
We'll
the
stick
kind
to
of guy
Hard
to
Rock.
end up in what looks like karaoke
yeah,
joint that's a brothel.
Yeah, before you know it, you can't leave unless you spend $100 or whatever. You mentioned nor here nor there. What's the phrasing that
You
you
said neither here.
Neither here nor
No, but you said
Neither.
something, but then our dad's saying,
yeah. What's your dad's?
"Oh, it's neither here nor there," which
Oh,
is
yeah.
one that he says a lot.
Neither you know.
Do you guys feel like you're turning more and more into your dad as you get older?
I think
Yeah.
you're quite like Timbo.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
plants?
Yeah, I like plants. No, I think so. Yeah. I think you kind of just can't help it. Like I think that's a fascinating thing in life to you kind of notice the traits of your parents and the things that they do and the things that would have given you the shits when you were a kid, and then you're like, fuck, I'm that. I'm starting to do that, especially when you start having kids.
The middle brother thing. Do you think it's
Yeah.
real? He's the middle brother. Josh and I are both younger brothers, and we've both come from 3 boys.
Yeah.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
2 older brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And
I mean, he
do
doesn't
you have a
talk
bit
about
of
them
middle?
much unless it's negative.
Exactly. Well, they don't listen to it at the show.
So fuck them, they're done.
Yeah, absolutely done. They cut it, absolutely. What's the it is the middle child, the middle child chip on the shoulder type of deal.
I don't think I've got the chip on my shoulder. It's definitely something, but I don't. Not like a chip on my shoulder. In our growing up, Tommy was a cyclone, and my older brother was a bit the same.
Yeah.
And I kind of tended to sort of just withdraw a bit and just like, also because I went to school on the other side of town and different school to both. Well, Tommy tried it, but didn't last there.
Try.
But different school to both Ant and Tommy. So all my friends were over the other side of town, and I would spend Fridays to Sundays sometimes just staying at other kids' houses and stuff.
Do you think boys' school, all boys' school, do you think it's a difference in you?
I don't know.
Better with banter?
Better with banter.
I don't know.
Well,
I didn't go to a boys' school. I'm just trying to understand.
I think how you grew up, it was with the boys, the pubs.
I've got
and
a very broad social group. Like I still see a lot of friends from school, and
do you see anyone from school, Josh?
No.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe that's
My
something.
banter wasn't good.
But that can be year to year as well. Like I remember the year above us at school, they kind of didn't like each other as much as our year, and then like it can be just the luck of the draw.
Yeah. Oh, what was Tommy like as a brother growing up?
He was intense, I suppose. That's. I mean, I know you've spoken about it before on the show. Like even Amy, what was
He listens.
Yeah. But yeah, Tommy was just intense. He had a lot of energy. He didn't take off. He wasn't one to kind of stick with authority or listen to authority. Disagreeable.
Highly disagreeable.
Did you guys get along?
Yeah, we got along enough. Like I don't have any like memories of like, oh, that was shit. Like that was, Tommy and Ant like fought a bit, but that's also an age thing too. Like
Yeah, 8 years old.
8 years different. Like that's a big gap.
Ant and I have become better friends as we've got older.
Yeah.
Although I did live with him when I was 17 for a little while, but then we worked together. I think as you get older, the friendships become better.
Yeah.
You hope.
Yeah.
I hope that. Just because if the problem was the age gap at the start, like you and I were hanging out, going to the park and, farting together. Just, all that shit. But I think, it's weird. Family stuff's weird.
Yeah.
You hope that you have a nice relationship with your family.
Yeah. I mean, what is it like Christmas time? Jackets? What's the deal? I feel like Christmas says a lot about families.
Yeah, we don't put a huge amount of energy into Christmas.
Oh, that would be my mate Dom. Who's
Dom's coming in. Yeah.
Dom.
Dill, just get him to chill on the couch.
Yeah, we're not a huge Christmas family, so we kind of have done the Christmas Eve dinners and we have done Christmas lunches.
I tend to like other families' Christmases better than ours. That's nothing. No, I don't think we put like I look at your wife Claire and her family, and the amount of time I've been to that fucking more than I've had Christmas dinners with my own, right?
Yeah.
But they put so much effort, and it's like this big thing. And so there is something about your own family one. I reckon we had the best Christmas in July last year. We did a random Christmas in July at Mum and Dad's house. And the vibe was just great. It was just fucking...
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Like,
what makes you want to do Christmas? Because Christmas, I don't like that much. So the idea of doing it again another time of the year is...
but that's just a label. But it's just a get together. But,
yeah, sure.
Because there's so much anxiety that can come up around Christmas. Like it brings up shit stuff for people.
Could you get rid of I wonder if there's people who are just like
Christmas and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it triggers people.
Well, people who've got like family members have died, all that sort of shit. I mean,
our grandfather died on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that has to be some kind of impactful thinking around that for Mum.
Mm.
He worked at Toys R Us
Mm.
and died there on fucking Christmas Eve.
Fuck.
How sad's that?
Busy period too.
I mean,
The shop would have been full.
it's fucked.
Um,
And so you could, I don't know. I've never spoken to Mum about that if it's triggering.
Yeah, I just think it's like families don't necessarily like get along all the time. Like,
Well, you
and-
think
and-
it should
and
be
you're
the
thrown
rule,
into-
right? But it's, it's
but when
not
you're
the
when you're
reality.
adults and you're building your own families,
Yeah.
does it then become like a up for discussion? Like, oh, like how much time to like? I know that, when my grandparents all had died, then it becomes a thing of like, okay, do we need the cousin? Like, who do we need involved in Chris? Like, you
Who are
start
we
to
cutting out? Fucking out.
well, there it is a little
John?
bit.
Nah.
No, it is a little bit like that, right? Which is like you can start to maneuver as you have your own family. Like if you think about it, what your Christmas was, like you might eventually have your version of the Christmas that doesn't involve your siblings or whatever because you've created your own.
Well, no, like this year, we'll host Christmas and we'll have both like mine and my wife's side of the family to our house.
Yeah.
So it'll just be a big mix of. And actually, the best Christmas I had was when we were living down in Flinders, and we were like, and that was. That's a whole other story, but there was like 3 couples and we all invited all of our families down to Christmas. We set out this big long table. It was like 30 people there.
I didn't go.
Yeah, why don't you come?
No, I didn't go because we've got the deal.
Oh, yeah.
The deal?
Sydney deal.
Well, because
the Sydney deal,
international,
yeah, sure.
interstate family, one on, one off.
Yeah.
So it's where are we having New Year's? We're having Christmas at the other
New
place.
Year's is another big one.
This
What
year
do-
we're doing both here, which
Yeah.
means I have to then probably do both next year up there.
And so the what do you do New Year's Eve? How much pressure do you put on for New Year's Eve? Do you do nothing?
Way overrated.
Really?
It is, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
like when you're a
I don't
kid-
do anything. But like,
Ever about anything.
no. Well, I mean, I just like my perfect New Year's is like,
in bed by 10.
yeah, it is a bit like it seems like a cliche, but the
Priorities change. I mean, yes, but you haven't come from doing the hard New Year's. Like I only had a first New Year's off alcohol for the first time in 15 years recently.
I like being overseas. Actually, that's the one thing. Bree and I were talking about it. The more Christmases we can do where it's like
Yeah, that's good.
away.
Yeah, I used to get right up and about for New Year's Eve as a kid. Like as a younger teenager, you do the New Year's
Sparklers.
Eve and then you do the New Year's Day like festival thing, like summer days.
Oh, yeah.
You
Be a
know?
big festival goer.
No. Oh, I mean, I used to be. Like I used to like it. But,
Is it for the music?
It's for the
yeah.
ecstasy.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I do wonder like how much of it is like
It's for
I
both.
love this.
No,
Drug.
definitely. The headline music acts
Yeah.
are what gets you there.
Yeah.
Like that's how you make your decision, I suppose, around.
And then you'd go in tents and stuff.
No.
Or
No. That's like camping. This
Yeah,
is
sure.
just one day.
Ah,
like,
okay.
you turn up in your fluoro polo shirt. And
Yeah.
Stubby, stubby shorts.
Well, I feel like you're an example of someone. I think Tommy, you're a bit like this too, which is like friendship group. Like you've got your groups that you can go because I don't have that from like school days or whatever. So it's not like have you got those traditions and stuff? How do those change as you start
Well, we've gone
being a
from,
dad and
so
all that sort of thing?
next month we're going to Noosa.
Yeah.
So from partying with friends to all going up to Noosa, there's like six families all
Yeah.
going up there. We're all staying up there for a couple.
Does the dynamic change when you go from when everyone has kids to all of a sudden? Are there any cases where people are great as single people or even people in partners, but as soon as they have kids, they become fuckwits? Or like, is that not too much of an issue?
No. Oh, no. Nothing springs to mind. around that.
Helps if your friends are doing it at the same time. Like
Yeah.
Conspiracy Jimmy.
Yeah.
He's had a baby similar time to us. So it's like,
a lot has to align though, doesn't it?
oh,
like
fuck
in
yeah. But
regards
they're
to
3
like,
months apart. Amazing.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, shit, son. Amy's pregnant. And then a couple of weeks later, he's like, yeah, and Cara too.
I mean, so is
Yeah,
that a play? Because my parents actually planned me to be around the exact same time as I've got like 3 friends that were like part of the same like mothers group or whatever. And they all like, we're all like 1 week out of September. It was like New Year's, 1989 or whatever. No, if I'm born 1990, whenever that is.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
9 months
it's-
before they're like, we sort of want all kids now. Yeah.
Which is weird
that a
when you think
thing?
about the conception,
Yeah.
like setting up, video chat. No, so like when you get kids with friends landing on the in the same, like we've got a couple of Panna, he's like we just had Rupert like 4 months ago. They were only a month behind or something, or a couple of months behind. So that's perfect because it's just an environment like you're just all in the same understanding about what's achievable, what's not achievable.
It'd be cool if the weird thing is, right, Jules Lund, one of your best friends, good friend, his mum went to primary school with my mum.
Yeah.
Our mum. And it's like, what are the chances?
Yeah.
Because we weren't friendly with him when we were young.
No.
It was at a later stage that you became good mates with him. And so it's cool because I go, I want James, Conspiracy Jimmy's son to be best mates with Bodie. High chance it probably won't happen.
Yeah.
But
I don't really care about the kids. I'm just caring about myself. Like you do whatever you want when you're that age. I'll be older.
Just to finish off, a memory that I have that I don't know. I mean, it's you just told me the story.
Farting, I'm cold.
No, Mum and Dad were away, and you had a gathering at our joint.
Gatherings and were always naughty. I feel like
But some
drinking.
gate crashers came, and you had to hose them down, hose them with a hose.
Yeah, right.
I mean, either you've just been spinning bullshit stories to me for a long time.
No, I
don't remember that?
No, I mean, kind of, but yeah.
I mean, impactful. You got a hose out. There's a guy trying to get over our fence.
I know another story that involves a hose. Yeah, but we've already told that on the show previously.
What about do you remember the story with Gus and when Mum and Dad went away? This is what triggered this thought, and we were going through a period of making hash cookies.
Yeah, I was making them.
Yeah. Well, we were both making them.
I made better ones.
And this particular time, though, you'd made this batch and I was going out and I said, just whatever you do, don't let the dogs get into
I
them.
wasn't listening.
Yeah.
And so it's like, mate, just like, I don't care what you do.
They were everywhere.
Just don't let the fucking dog, because they'll get into them. Don't let them get into these things.
Well, they were good cookies. They
But where
tasted
were
good.
they? Like, do you have to worry about that do you have any pets now?
No.
Do you think you'll be a pet guy?
Well,
eventually?
we had a
His
rabbit.
Rabbit just
Oh,
died,
the
mate.
okay.
Rabbit just
Baby
died.
just
I was saying about that.
sensitive.
Percy. So anyway, so I get home and I open the front door and I literally see this little whippet leaning on the hallway wall like this, but up the other end of the hall.
Dude.
So he's leaning on the wall, and then I'm like, "Oh, Gussie, what's going on, mate?" And I'm like, "Come here."
He looked at Mikey and went, I'm stoned.
And he didn't get off the wall, but he walked to me. So,
He's stuck on the wall.
so he literally and he looked up at me and he's just stoned out of his mind. And he's just like, "Ugh."
So stoned.
We had to call the vet, and he's like, "Oh, you dickheads." He's like, "You can give him salt to try and get him to vomit up. Otherwise, just give him a cuddle and let it ride out."
Yeah. He would have got that phone call a couple of times. I remember. So where I left them was just on my bedside table, and the little rat had jumped up onto the bed and then got his nuzzle into the fucking cookies. I don't know how many he had. I've got a video of it. I've got a little video of him just like, and he even does this thing where like, when you're really stoned, you can do this thing where someone says, "Hey," and you kind of double take, like you do this. Like,
and also your eyes don't get as quick as your head. So
and
you're like,
he
Do you reckon
legit
he
does
loved
that.
it though?
He did it. He did that.
Do you think he
I said,
enjoyed the
Gussie, he
experience?
just went,
he was a big stoner after that.
Mikey, thank you for coming on Weekend
worries, it's been a
Banter.
pleasure.
It's the daily talk show. We should get you back as well.
yeah,
Sounds good.
it'd be good having Julesy on
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah,
So we'll do a full family affair.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks,
It's the Daily
boys.
Talk Show. We'll see you tomorrow for episode 400.
Oof.
I'm tired. Bye, guys.
See you guys.